I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Hey, it's Nisi. So I've been diving into rookie group AtHeart's debut Plot Twist. You know, I'm always on the hunt for what makes an album click, and with AtHeart, it's all about how they frame duality as something audible. It's that sweet spot where entertainment turns into a mirror. Music that's easy to enjoy, but designed to make you feel and think at the same time. That's the kind of storytelling I gravitate toward. Of course, a work can be pure fun, and yet still nudge us to examine what we believe and why it hits as hard as it does. What's got me hooked on Plot Twist is how producers didn't just throw sound at a wall. They created a combination of elements working together in perfect harmony with the AtHeart members. First off, the cohesion in their sound. They're playing in a focused R&B space, flirting with pop and EDM, but it never feels disjointed. It's variety within a vision, and that's key for rookies. They understand that ensemble blend and arrangement is part of their identity, not just some window dressing. Then there's their take on retro. They're not just cosplaying nostalgia. They fold vintage synth colors, groove-forward rhythms, and modern mix choices into something totally contemporary. It's intent, not imitation, and that makes all the difference. And finally, it's how they build their songs, where tracks aren't just a collection of random parts thrown together. They use sectional contrasts, smart builds, and dynamic pivots to amplify meaning, not just for the sake of a cheap surprise. They're thinking about the journey they're taking you on as a listener, and that's what elevates their music to another level. Let's quickly anchor this EP within a lens. I'm reading certain tracks like Love Letters to Self, acknowledging past missteps while recommitting to growth, which keeps the musical vulnerability honest and the concept dark, forward-facing. That perspective lets the vocals carry both ache and agency at once. It's that tension, created with the ability to use the members' vocals and the overall production to create a compelling sense of duality that reflects the push and pull between vulnerability and strength, innocence and experience. Their debut EP, Plot Twist, is not just about catchy songs, it's about exploring the complexities of the human heart, their sound. With the little I've seen so far, I'm also clocking the balance between authenticity and performance, between private conviction, what we claim, what we build, and external pressure, the roles, the tropes we navigate every day. That tension, personal expression versus a system of expectation, adds a certain kind of depth to their good girl versus plot twist persona play. It's not about being saved or forgiven, and we see this play out across the EP. In their pre-release, Good Girl, AtHeart, the very title sets up the expectation of a certain persona. But listen closely, and you'll hear those sly details, left field synth textures, and phrasing winks that hint at a more complex reality beneath the surface. In the title Plot Twist, the theme of unexpected change and upheaval challenges expectations under a sound of an Imogen Heap-like vocoder that met some Lorde-like vulnerable bridges. In Pushback, the push and pull dynamics of a budding romance become a microcosm of this larger tension, navigating expectations while trying to express genuine feelings. In New Me, the track offers a moment of reflection and acceptance, but it's crucial to consider what is being accepted. Is it a passive acceptance of the roles and expectations placed upon them, or an active embrace of their authentic self despite those pressures? And in the digital communication premise emphasizes how much of our lives are curated online personas. The longing and anticipation in the lyrics can be seen as yearning for genuine connection in a world that often feels artificial. Through each of these song examples, we can see how AtHeart uses this album to explore the complexities of navigating authenticity and performance in a world that's constantly trying to define us. I love this song. This track is it. This is where the vocals express confusion, disorientation, or a sense of being lost, grappling with their identity in the face of external forces. The thematic shifts and reflect the struggle to reconcile one's authentic self with sudden shifts in circumstances. The production is that emotional whiplash you can dance to. You've got abrupt pivots from airy pads into hard driving drops, then gravity vanishes before the final chorus. Those jolts capture that life just changed on me vertigo without losing the hook. It's that feeling of having the rug pulled out from under you, forcing you to question everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world around you. The layered synth psychology is key too. Soft, glassy beds against gritty bass and leads equals hope versus panic built into the timbre. The arrangement centers on the vocals as an inner debate with close confessional verses versus expansive stacked choruses. One voice becomes many when conviction lands. It's like you're hearing the internal struggle between the person you thought you were and the person you're now forced to become. It uses contrast to serve the story, not just as a gotcha production trick. The drama earns the emotion, highlighting the raw and often painful process of self-discovery. This one's all about flirtation in stereo, but it's also about the performance of romance. The breathiness, the whispered asides makes the space feel conspiratorial. You lean in, but you're also aware that you're only seeing a carefully constructed version of intimacy. The call and response turns the mix into a dialogue, playful, teasing, a little competitive. And you've got light, airy harmonies that keep it buoyant. So the micro-expressions, like those ad-libs and those little flickers of vocal fry, read as personality, not excess. It's all about crafting an image, projecting a certain persona, while trying to maintain a sense of genuine connection. The production on this track is all about creating nostalgic anticipation with digital butterflies, highlighting how our desire for connection is often mediated through technology. The text tone motif equals instant scene setting. We're already waiting for the three dots to turn into words. We're aware of the inherent artificiality of digital communication. Then you've got vintage, warm synths under a modern sheen that give that, I've felt this before, but this time it's new energy. And finally, those lo-fi textures plus roomy reverbs, let closeness and distance coexist. You're connected, but there's still a screen between you, reminding us that true intimacy can be elusive, even in our hyper-connected world.
If you think you need me, no you didn't, 'cause I'm on a new level.
This track is all about a steady beat for a soft truth, but it's also about the ongoing process of self-acceptance. The grounded drums and bass equate to self-possession. You believe the I'm okay now because the groove doesn't flinch. You've got layered harmonies that feel like a chorus of former selves agreeing to coexist alongside each other. Those subtle forward-leaning synth details under lyrics that express self-awareness, resilience, and a commitment to personal growth hint at who you're still becoming, suggesting that self-discovery is a journey, not a destination. This track is subversive sweetness in a nutshell. You've got that bubblegum casing with dissonant details, meaning bright hooks up front meet little left-field synth textures in the instrumental and subtle expression in vocal delivery that tilt the persona. Playful inflections with just a trace of grit signal, I'm not the trope you order. And the mixed dynamics and well-timed pauses make the reveal feel earned, not announced, like a smile that doesn't fully hide that smirk. The lyrics hint at a hidden desire, rebellious thoughts, and a need to break free from expectations. It's a public mask versus private complexity tension that makes the concept feel bigger than one song, challenging the listener to look beyond the surface and question the expectations we place on others, and serving as a great conceptual introduction. So why does this debut work, in my opinion? It all comes down to this. AtHeart chooses cohesion over chaos. The range within a focused palette lets the emotional push and pull register across the EP instead of feeling like genre hopscotch. That's how a young group starts sounding like itself from day one. They also made story-first choices. Production doesn't decorate feeling, it models it. The contrast in timbre, density, and space mirrors what the lyrics confess, so the message and the mix are always saying the same thing. And finally, it's vulnerability, on purpose. The EP allowed me to treat the songs like letters, whether to a lover or to myself, centering on sincerity, so imperfection reads as intimacy and not mistakes. Of course, my first 10 EP spins were purely for the vibes. Pop is supposed to be fun. Rest assured, I never forget that, even as I get lost in my own thoughts. But when a project invites us to interrogate our own strengths versus softness, our own masks versus mirror, that lingers. In the end, AtHeart's Plot Twist EP isn't just something to listen to. It's something to feel, a journey into the push and pull of our inner lives. It's a carefully constructed exploration of what it means to be human in a world that's constantly telling us who we should be. With this debut EP, AtHeart created a space where they acknowledged the push and pull of authenticity and performance, and maybe, just maybe, conveyed that we should find a little more grace for ourselves and our idols along the way. So, did I convince you that AtHeart's Plot Twist is an EP worth listening to? I am eager to hear your thoughts. And if this rabbit hole dive resonated, like, subscribe, share, and keep the conversation going in the comments. Until next time, stay thoughtful at heart. Plot Twist is still my favorite from their debut. I love almost every single song. Good Girl at Heart maybe is one tier down from the other four. But Plot Twist is the well-chosen heart of the EP. It's where the themes converge most clearly. I work in HRIS, and in my world, we're always trying to figure out what makes people tick, what motivates them, what makes them feel engaged, using different forms of testing like A/B testing to try out different approaches and see what works best. That's what Plot Twist is doing from its first to last second. The song structure makes you feel the moment identity tilts and reforms as if it's your own human heart in action. It's so addictive. You get these moments of quiet introspection, like a lone piano, a hushed vocal, that creates a sense of internal stillness, of being centered and grounded. But then out of nowhere, bam, the beat drops, the synth explodes, and you're hit with this external surge of energy, this chaotic rush that throws everything into disarray. It's that fun, witty, accurate musical representation of a plot twist that is the song's genius. So yeah, Plot Twist is my favorite. So.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school.